And we're live. Good afternoon, everybody. We're excited to be here again for another installment of the UnFiltered Show. We've been doing this now for a little while, and we're lifting up leaders from all over the country that are making a difference in their space, communities, leadership, business, personal lives, just people that have lots of love to give and their willingness to give it. And we're trying to create a platform that gives them an opportunity to share their story, and we dive deep. We dive deep into the realities of success, right? The struggles, the price you pay, and the rewards that come with that. So we're super excited. Today we have a very special guest, Miss Renee Wilson from Jersey, and we'll talk a little bit about her background as well and her Jamaican roots, being born in the Bronx. And we're so fired up, right? Renee is one of the leaders in one of the largest direct selling companies in the world. And not only are they the largest, they've also been around, I think, possibly quite the longest. And we'll talk a little bit about that history as well. But Renee is not just one of the affiliates within the organization. She's one of the leaders within the organization. And recently, she earned the honor of the Go Give Award, which is the highest award that I believe you can earn or get bestowed on or recognized for in Mary Kay. So Renee Wilson, welcome to the show. We're excited to have you. And thank you for joining us today. And hopefully we get to dive deep into your secrets of your success. And for anybody listening in and aspiring to make key differences in their lives or changes in their lives, you can share some insights today about some of the things that you've done and give them the cheat codes so that they can accelerate their success. So Renee Wilson, thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about you and the genesis of coming from the Bronx, from Jamaican parents.
Well, thank you, Bush. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here
Yeah.
and to your viewers. I was born and raised in the Bronx to Jamaican parents. My grandparents are Jamaican. My whole descendants Jamaican. And so I grew up with the Caribbean background, spending time in Jamaica every year for years with my both grandparents. I ended up moving to Jersey when I was about 21 because my mother passed at a young age of 54. And it was just hard for me. I do have other sisters and relatives, but it was just hard for me being the youngest and missing her. So it was suggested that I move out to Jersey, and I was in Bergenfield and Hackensack. I met my husband, and now I'm in Englewood, New Jersey.
That worked out. Let me ask you this. You were the youngest of how many?
Three. We're four of us. There's one passed away of cancer a while ago from my father's first marriage, but I just say sisters. There are no halves.
So we got a little bit in common. My dad passed away when I was 21, and I'm the youngest of three.
Oh, wow.
And it was 33 years ago yesterday, in fact, that he passed away.
Wow, and it's going to be 36 for my mom. So yeah, that is in common.
We got a lot in common, exactly. Yeah. Except I didn't move from the Bronx. I moved from Singapore, which is a little island far away from here, somewhere in the South Pacific. Well, Renee, you obviously have had to navigate most of your adult life without your mom. I'm sorry to hear that, but hopefully, you subscribe to a higher being and she's always looking out from a better place. I'm almost jealous that they got to get there so quick. So, we still have to figure out this thing called life.
Yes.
So I'm going to dive right into it. You are one of the top leaders and you earned the highest award in Mary Kay.
Yeah.
And Mary Kay, for those of you who might know, if you've seen the pink Cadillacs, they're one of the longest serving and most successful opportunities, business enterprises in the country and quite possibly the world. And Renee just received the highest award in Mary Kay, which is the Miss Go Give Award. And this July, she will receive that award and get national recognition for that, probably global recognition, because I believe Mary Kay is global. But Renee, tell us what the road to the top looked like, what inspired you to join Mary Kay, and what has been the key to your success in reaching the levels you have.
Okay. I joined Mary Kay Saturday, actually just made 12 years.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. And the thing with Mary Kay is it's a volunteer company. We get paid according to our efforts. I joined my kids then and now. They were 10 and 12 when I started. On my way to this day. They're both graduating from college in May.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I've been married. We just made 25 years. My husband retired 30 years as a firefighter in Inglewood. And I work for the city of Inglewood. So for those out there, I work a full-time job, right?
Yeah.
So this fits in my life. I knew I needed something extra. And I had made some bad financial decisions when I was young because I didn't
Yeah.
have guidance.
Only you. None of us have. We're all perfect, right? Only you make those mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I started with 27 cents in my bank account, and Mary Kay came into my life. I was actually offered the opportunity 5 years prior by my senior director, Teresa Wilkinson Brown. And I thank God that she never gave up on me. So for 5 years, I thought it was a door to door. I didn't think I needed it or
Yeah.
anything like that. And when I got into that bind, I had given her a check. I always paid her in cash, and this is how God works. And people don't know we actually, our motto for our company is God first, family second, career third. So I happened to have given her a check that day. And I had to humble myself and call her and tell her, hold on to the check.
Yeah.
And I didn't wear a lot of makeup. I didn't know how to put on mascara. I didn't even know really wash my face properly, but I used the eyeliner and a perfume. And I called her. She was like, sure. But that was an indication to her that I needed an extra income. And she said, I'll hold on to it, but you really need to listen to my opportunity. And I did, and I didn't know what I didn't know. So after I heard, and I was like, oh, I could work on my own time, my own hours. It's a great product. I had acne when I started, so it cleared up my skin. So I started for the money, but I would say maybe within the first month or two, I love the leadership because I was so excited
Yeah.
of what it did. And my father had just passed and he was living in Jamaica. I had no money, but with Mary Kay, I was able to get the money in a few weeks to get myself to Jamaica to lay my father to rest.
That's wonderful. You mentioned the leadership, and what I've seen as I've worked with and consulted with so many different affiliate type companies, but the strong ones, the ones that have a good foundation, they put a lot of emphasis on training and development, right? So not necessarily where everybody needs to be a super success. But
Mhm.
what I think is if you surrender to the leadership and you surrender to the training, you come out thinking different, feeling different, operating different. You read different books. You learn so much about people and life and communication and motivation and inspiration, meaning two different things, right? Because inspiration is way different from motivation. Motivation's when you have a good idea and you run with it.
That's an inside
Inspiration,
job.
right? Inspiration's when a good idea gets a hold of you and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And you learn that with leadership. So I'm glad we're starting with that because that's what this show is about. We're trying to identify leaders, and it's a lonely world. It's not an easy job, but those who choose to do it and do it well, God love them because the world needs more of them.
Amen.
Thank you for being so honest as well with regards to that humble beginning of
Hmm.
having less than $1 in the bank and having them hold you a check just because it was just the realities, right? And you're talking about at that time having 10 and 12-year-olds. And if anybody on this call or on the show listens to it, 10 and 12-year-olds are expensive, especially if they're playing sports and their feet grow every week and their shoes that you bought 2 weeks ago don't fit anymore. And there's all these fashion trends that have to go around middle school and junior high and you got to keep up. So parent to parent, I understand those things, right?
Yeah.
So,
Embrace it.
that's just life. That's just life. Yeah. And so what did you face? What obstacles did you face early on that may have taken you out of the game? And what did you have to subscribe to get you to push through them?
That's a heavy question, but it is a powerful question.
Yeah.
I tell people I have another director that her name is Cheryl Banks, and she says everybody wants to arrive, but nobody wants to take the trip. Right. So everybody wants to get here, but they don't want to take the journey or they don't want to go the in between. So what has always kept me going to this day, like I started with my kids are my why. They were my why then, they are my why now. They've seen me do a lot of things. I've failed a lot. You
Yeah.
know, if people just see the successes, they see the trips, and we earned a cruise to the Bahamas, and they see the diamonds is an actual 300,000 diamond bar pin that I led my unit to. It's called a unit club. They see all that, but they don't see the sleepless nights.
Yeah,
They don't see me being up worried about, will my people follow me? Am I setting a good example? And I try to lead by example. So what keeps me going is, you'll see me do a lot of things, but you will never see me give up. You'll never see me give up. So I believe that with leadership, because I lead a volunteer army, they don't have to do anything. But I lead with love. I lead with respect. I lead with example. I lead with inspiration, like you said. And I don't ask my unit to do anything I don't do. Right.
that's awesome.
So it's important for them to see me do it, to show that it can be done. Now, my why is not my ladies' why, right? We have a few good men, but I have a unit, full of women. So I ask them all the time, what is it that they want? And you use the word surrender. And Tamara, if you're watching, I use that word all the time. You have to surrender to your heart and your will and your wants. So if God is pulling you to do this, but you're like, no, that's too hard. No, I don't want to do that. Not
Yeah.
today. You're never going to cross it, right? So you have to be consistent on what could have stopped me.
Well, let me interrupt you for a second. You mentioned about your kids being your why, and I'll just share this. And you talked about how you had a lot of failure as well. Kids listen with their eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and they see things sometimes even if we don't discuss it. They feel things around the house, right? They know the mood at the kitchen table. They can sense the tension. So
It's not what's taught, it's what's caught.
absolutely. And I'll just say this, just the way you've navigated the last 12 years, which by the way, just means that you have this year of the snake cycle, because that's every 12 years in the Chinese calendar. But I'm sure that they've seen your struggles and they've seen your perseverance. And I'm certain they're proud of your success. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is Mary Kay and I'm going to ask a naive question, is Mary Kay an all-female opportunity?
No, no.
Okay.
It's predominantly women, but like I said, we have a few good men. We have some men nationals, some men leaders, directors, consultants.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's not, but it's predominantly women, because it was created for women by a woman. But over the years, men have joined us. Yes, absolutely.
How do you empower or mentor other women or men in the business for them to understand that the prize with a Z is worth the price with a C?
Okay. So again, I always ask them, what is it they want? Because when we win as a unit, everyone has individual goals, right? So their goals are not my goals and vice versa. So if I have everyone focusing on their goals, then we all win together. So I like to say with our products, right, equal a profit, right? So if you need gas money, we have the number one skincare globally in the world, right? So I like to pair the product and the profit. So if you need gas money, let's just say you need $40 of gas for the week, right? We have a wonderful product called Satin Hands. That's $38. That's your gas money right there.
Okay.
So that's how I look at it.
One block at a time, right?
Yeah,
You
and
know,
that look at
it's
it.
interesting you talk about having the best product in the world. You've seen over time, Mary Kay's been a top ranked product provider and company for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know,
62.
you watch infomercials on TV and there's always a new brand that they bring on a celebrity for, and they spend a bunch of money in marketing and advertising and they blow it up for a little bit and then it kind of fades away.
Mm-hmm.
But the consistency of Mary Kay has been impressive.
Yes.
How is Mary Kay or the opportunity or the role of leadership being an entrepreneur? I'm going to give you a very loaded question here. How has it transformed your self-confidence? And what advice do you have for other people that might be struggling with their self-belief?
Yes, that is a loaded question. I can tell you for myself, the confidence that people see now wasn't always there from my childhood, from different family, or, a family member who, I don't want to say, but just did not see the value in me. Right. So that played a long way in my teenage years and my adult years. So with this business, we always say you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
I love that.
When someone comes in, as I tell my unit, it's not just me they're joining a whole sisterhood of women to help them. I may be the leader, but that doesn't mean I'm the smartest one. Right. So we have a young lady, Angel. We call her our techie. So when you were asking, when I get off the phone, I'm going to call her to ask her about the other thing. But so just because I'm the leader, I don't have to be the one training all the time. So we draw from one another's strengths, right? So how do I build their self-confidence? One step at a time, one step at a time. Because if you skip steps, it may be having to get no's. It's a business. Someone is going to tell you no, but no means next. And you turn those two letters around, that means on, right? So you have to keep going no matter what. Or I'll say, if someone says no, I don't say to her, but I was like, thank you so much, Kim, in my mind. And Kim stands for keep it moving, right?
I'm going to have to borrow some of these things. I love it because we deal with this in
Yes,
every aspect of our lives. Rejection is natural, and sometimes no doesn't even mean they don't like what you're doing. No could mean I don't understand or it's not the right time.
right.
Like in the case with you, it took you 5 years for your no to become a yes. And thankfully, you're the person that introduced you was persistent and didn't listen to all the negative
Yeah,
because she didn't give up on you or herself.
thank God. She always says, because I never said, don't ever call me again. She just said it just wasn't a right time. So she kept she was pleasantly persistent.
What do you work on for self-confidence? What is your personal who is your personal trainer? Who do you subscribe to? Books, podcasts, uh, people of inspiration. Where do you go to when the motivator needs motivating?
So that's something, if Tamara's listening and Age is listening, I have a group called my grind group. They always say, who fills you up? Who fills up your cup? Because I pour out so much. So for me, I listen to a lot of positive things on YouTube. And one of my favorites is Les Brown.
Yeah,
I love Les Brown. And, he has so many great videos and inspiration. The Power of the Subconscious Mind is a book. We have nationals. And beautiful thing about Mary Kay is we have directors and nationals that teach us. So years ago, Mary Kay used to bring in motivational speakers to talk to us and pay them, like you said, a whole bunch of money and stuff. But then who better to learn from than the people that went the way, right? So,
100%.
right, the next level that I want to get to, we have people there. So we learn from one another. We learn from my nationals, our top directors, and so forth. My consultants and my business partners, they learn from, if they want to get to where I am as a director, they know I've been there because some of them seen it, right? So my inspiration comes from just doing and believing. We have to believe that if God put the vision before us, he's going to make the provision. He didn't say he's going to make it easy, but I believe in pictures and goal posters and just putting my vision and my goals in front of me. And I just surround myself with positive people. I surround myself and people who lift me up, not just take away.
In a previous life, I got to be in a speaking tour, and I actually shared the stage with Les Brown. And I will say this: he is as sincere and generous off stage as he is on.
Yes. I met him twice, and you're right.
Yeah, he's consistent throughout, and it was a pleasure to work with him. And I still subscribe to what he does, and we talk every once in a while, and I'm very, very proud of the work he's done and the work I was able to do with him. So there are moments when it's not so easy. You don't always have this wonderfulness going, right? The beautiful hair, the pink glasses, the nice jewelry and the clothes. You don't always have this going on. There are some days where I'm certain you feel like it's just not going in any direction, or getting more no's than you do yeses, or your best people quit on you, or things like that, or the people that are closest to you are quick to kind of talk you out of your dreams because they want to keep you safe. not because they want to prevent you from success, but they want to protect you from disappointment if you don't get successful. How are you driving forward on those days? Where is that juice coming from?
God, like he is the one I tell everybody all the time. He gave me this vision. Him and alone, nobody else. He gave me the vision of the end. So I do work with the end in mind. So on those days, I just have to hold on to God's promises. And it's not easy. So sometimes I may have a smile, but I'm not myself behind there, but I have to keep going. I have to keep going because I know the vision that I have. And so let me just explain something real quick, if I may. You see all these butterflies, right? So last year, I kept asking and praying for like a symbol, and we came up with a butterfly. And we know the stages of the butterfly, of crawling on the floor and on the ground and going through the cocoon and the metamorphosis and then taking flight, right? So that's what we are. However, Asia, who's is one of my offspring sales directors, she had sent us this message, and it said, when it rains, a butterfly takes its rest during the rain. So you have to take rest sometimes. People think I work 24/7, but I don't. You just have to take that time and sit back and rest and just know that it's okay. And although we go through trials and tribulations and people quitting and all this stuff, I have to tell myself God's promises are true. Even if people don't commit to what they say they're going to do, I know God's promises are true. And the only way I can do that is faith without works is dead. I have to keep going.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question. I ask it of all my guests every week, and we host this show every Tuesday, and we hope to continue doing it, bring in more leadership, more success, more inspiration from women all everywhere. This show is dedicated towards lifting women up.
Mhm.
If you had a magic wand and you could wave it and change anything over the last 3 to 4 years, outside of family, of course, right? So just in business and in life and circumstances, what would you have done different, more of, instead of? What would some of those things be, if any?
Well, if I had a magic wand, I would love for the women that I lead
Yeah.
to see what I see, to see the power, to see
Okay.
the strength, to see the magic that they have, to see what I see so they can rise and they can elevate and they can have that confidence to know that they are leaders as well. Because a lot of them are leaders inside their job, but maybe not so much here. And if I could wave a wand and let them see the beautiful, powerful women that they are, that's what I would do.
So you have this stage, right? This is going to be everything that we do online on digital format, is going to be around forever. So what do you think is preventing them from freeing their mind, playing to their fullest potential, diving into that sea of belief? What is preventing that behavior?
That's an open-ended question. So some of it, I believe, is some are fear of success. Some people fear success just like they do failure, right? Some people think maybe they're not good enough. Some just have excuses, some just have excuses of time and all this stuff. And we think we have to be great to start. And the truth is we have to start to be great.
So all those things can be learned, right? The fear of success or the fear of failure, both can be taught.
Mm-hmm.
We can reprogram the fear of failure, and obviously we can help work with those people. We also have the fear of self-doubt. We can work with that. And even the fear, the one that loves the excuses, we can work with that as well. We all have that one friend who shows up late to everything, and they're always going, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but you know me, I'm always late." Well, my response is, "Well, just fix it. Leave earlier." Right? Just because you're comfortable with your behavior doesn't mean the rest of us have to deal with it, right?
Right.
So when you're dealing with some of those situations where fear of success or fear of failure or self-doubt or blaming whatever the situation circumstances are, how do you coach through that?
I like to meet people where they are.
Okay.
but I'm also transparent with them because I have a lot of one-on-one conversations, right? And I also I can't take anyone anywhere they're not willing to go, right? So you have to be willing to show up for yourself. And I always say you have to participate in your own success. It doesn't matter how much I want it for you, you have to want it for yourself. So if you have a car note or mortgage or bills to pay, and you know you have more month than money, and I'm showing you and teaching you and giving my time on how and what to do, that's I can only take you as far as you want to go. And you have to believe in what you're building, your product, your leader, your yourself, the company. It's a belief system. It really is a belief system. And some people just, I don't know, I guess some people just want to see it before they see it. But I do say you have to see the success before you see it.
It's self-belief is such an interesting thing, but it's crazy because the same people who doubt the opportunity or doubt their self-belief will also take a job that they don't quite know or learn and do it anyway, and then just kind of get paid in the process. And then they try something like this where they can pretty much set their own standards, raise the ceiling to whatever they want to make. They give it about 2 hours a week and expect it to turn them into a mega millionaire. And there's no congruency with that, right? You almost have to work harder at this than you do your job because you're expecting this to lift you out of your job and maybe into a different realm in life. So I've often seen that trend where people don't give it their all and then quit prematurely.
Mhm.
And it's sad because you've also seen thousands of lives that have succeeded as a result of this. I mean, I'm certain this convention that you have in July um, will be a massive blowout. I mean, thousands and thousands of people that have experienced success.
Hmm. Absolutely.
You got to borrow that belief sometime.
Yes. Well, that's another thing some of my team members say. They say, they borrow my belief until they could have their own. I did that for my senior director.
For
She
sure.
believed so much in me. Part of me didn't want to disappoint her because I'm like, wow, you
For
really think you
sure.
can do this?
Yeah, life's too short to learn everything by ourselves. We got to borrow as much as we can. I mean, I don't have an original bone in my body. Everything that I've done, I've borrowed, plagiarized, copied, because if I see success, I just follow the examples. I mean, I'm super proud of that. Nothing original about me.
We say it's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat.
100%, right? So, 10 and 12 years old, you start the business, and we all know a direct selling business, there's a lot of front end sacrifice. I've often heard from leaders that have been very successful in this space, and they all say the same thing. You have to pay it all up front and in full, right?
Mhm.
And you collect it for the rest of your life. So lots of meetings, trainings, and then when no one's watching, you still got to read the books and listen to the tapes back in the day. CDs, right? Now you got iPods and whatever the case might be. iPods even date us, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
But you would have to pop in a Les Brown CD back in the day as you were driving to work and back, right? And you do all these things when no one's watching, and then you got to do things and sometimes miss a soccer game or miss a recital, miss a concert at school, or not be there for kitchen table homework because you are running an after work appointment. That's when the price doesn't always look like it's worth the price. But if you can work through those, you see the flip, right? And then everybody enjoys that. But how did you manage personal life in those times? Not so much today. But if I was just starting off right now and I had a 10 and 12-year-old or a 6 and 8 or no kids, right? But I was starting new. How do you manage personal life if I got a 9 to 5 somewhere else, family, and the high demands that a switch in this line of work requires because of all the additional training that I need? And it's not just about product, it's about leadership, mindset, those kind of things. I know it's a long question,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm
So
saying.
I'm going to go back and then come to the
Yeah,
present.
of course.
That's okay. So God bless the people who were here way before me because there wasn't an internet, there wasn't a website, there were no cell phones, there wasn't any of that. But during my era of Mary Kay, we didn't have Zoom. We had conference calls that you didn't see people on, but we had in-person meetings every Monday for 2 hours. For 2 hours. My husband, like I said, he was a firefighter. My son did football and track. My daughter did dance. So, yes, I was running from here, and sometimes they would be with me in my meetings doing homework and all these things. And there are a couple of times that I've gotten to arguments with my husband because I was taking so much time away and doing this and that. And I remember telling him, what I'm doing is going to pay off. I have never been so sure about anything in my life. And I didn't want to quit because I just knew it. I just knew it was going to pay off. So going back then, it was a lot of sacrifices. I mean, there were times, yes, I wasn't always at the games or stuff like that, but I can tell you one quick story if I may. And this is where it comes in, where it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. My son he ran track in high school, and we had to go down to Atlantic City area. But one of my new people, Stacy, who's been with me 11 years to this day, right? She came in a year after I started. When we do a debut for someone that comes in, we actually do it for them so they can see, they learn, they earn, and they collect the money. But we, as the leaders, we teach them, we show them, but they get the money from their customers.
Sure.
We went down to Atlantic City. We're supposed to come back. This was a Saturday. We were supposed to come back, but we ended up staying because he qualified for whatever race. But I said to my husband and my daughter, I said, I have to be back tomorrow because I gave this new person my word that I would be there to help her. We ended up staying, and I think her party was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I said to my son, I said, Dante, I'm sorry, I cannot stay for this second race, only one. I have to go. I gave my new consultant my word that I would be there. And my son said to me, it's okay, Mom. I see what you're doing. And if you're helping someone else and it's going to help them, it's okay. And I'll never forget that.
Wow. How old was he?
At the time, maybe 14, maybe
Wow.
in high school. And I ended up coming back to Inglewood, getting dressed, going back to I think she lives in Linden, doing her party where only one person showed up for her party. But it didn't matter if no one showed up. It mattered. I kept my word and I kept my promise to help her.
Yeah. It
So
mattered that you showed up.
it mattered that I showed up. So that was a sacrifice. And like you said, the prize and the price. Right? There are a lot of things that I've sacrificed. A lot now they're used to me. I talk to everybody, or, they'll go, my sister-in-law, Carol, she'll say, you have any appointments? Or my girlfriend, Celissa, she'll say, do you have any appointments? And they know to ask that before they ask me, can I go somewhere? So they respect what I do. And that's a beautiful thing. I hope I answered your question.
Absolutely did. Absolutely. I'm certain you gave us the quick version because not so fun for the firefighter when he also has to play carpool dad and he's sitting in parking lots and I spent 30 years in Southern California. It was always perfect weather.
Mhm.
So not the same in the East Coast. You're
Right.
dealing with climate issues sometimes and moving kids and it's not so fun and dinner's not on the table at a certain time and
That's right.
there's a whole lot of quick meals going on and so am I missing something, right? Those things happen, right?
Yes, they do.
And
But it's worth the sacrifice. It was worth it. For me, it was worth it.
so true or false, when you partner up with somebody in this business, make sure you also partner up their spouse with the dream.
Absolutely true.
Okay. Because the spouse can kill it if he or she doesn't see it.
Absolutely true. You hit it on the head.
And there's because when you come back like that night when you came back from that week from that that debut party,
Mhm.
and only one person showed, and you miss your son's race, and I'm certain you're not driving home singing James Brown at that night. You're driving home feeling exhausted. The feet hurt a little bit more. The
Yes.
heels weren't as comfortable, and you're walking into the house, and whether you know it or not, they can tell within 3 seconds of seeing you walk into that house how your night went.
Yes.
And the whole family bears that disappointment.
Mhm. Mhm. Can
You
I
must
can
have you must have had
something?
a very supportive husband to
Yes, he got on board eventually. He got on board, but it wasn't easy in the beginning. He
yeah.
didn't stop me, but with the kids, the time to sacrifice. And I just have to say this to interrupt you for this. We were up for earning a cruise. I think this is in 2019. And when you said it's a family sacrifice, even when we just picked up our last car, Tamara didn't just thank me. She thanked my family, and my kids were there. My husband was there.
Oh, hang on. That's the fifth car.
Fifth. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. And when we earned the cruise, we were coming back, and this was another sacrifice. It was my birthday weekend, my husband's birthday weekend in June, and we had to finish by June 30th. I think this was June 28th, which is my birthday. We're at Williamsburg, Virginia, at a amusement park, and we're supposed to be going on rides, and I'm like, hold on, and I'm helping my other people get into what we call a red jacket, their mid leadership position or beginning leadership position, and I'm helping them. I'm going on rides, but I'm like, hold on, and it's loud. We did it, but it was a sacrifice, and I know my family was just like, man, mom, come on, like she's always working. And on the way home, Jennifer Lassane called, and she asked to, because she had just made to her red jacket, which is a big deal.
sure.
She called and asked for me to put the call on speaker, and I did. And she wanted to thank my husband and my kids for sacrificing our vacation to help her get to her next position. So yes, it is a sacrifice, but it doesn't go unnoticed from my team. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I do appreciate that. So yes, I want it more for them sometimes, most of the time, than I do for me, because I like to see them win as well.
Let's talk about winning. Let's talk about this award that you are about to receive in July. Tell us a little bit about this. Tell us the background of the award, the prestige that comes with the award. Do they throw this award around to just anybody? Yeah, I didn't think so, right? And you and I had talked about that. So tell us a little bit about this award.
Okay, so the Miss Go Give Award, I know people know all about the pink Cadillacs, but that is not the pinnacle of the awards in this business. So the Miss Go Give Award is not something you can really work for. It's not something you can sell. It's an appointed award, and you have to be nominated. I can't nominate myself. I didn't even know it was gone. It was something that I knew in my heart I wanted, but I can't apply for it. I can't do anything. It's something that your unit and your peers in Mary Kay have to nominate you for. So even though you get nominated, they I found out later it was Jennifer that started, the same one that wanted me to put the call on speaker. And you asked my unit members and my leaders to write an email or call the company, and like if I've touched their lives or something like that.
Wow.
The company, I guess, looks at, I'm sure they get hundreds and thousands. So not was I only nominated, but I was actually selected
Wow.
by the company for December Miss Go Give. We get in a magazine. And I believe at the end, I'm not sure if I think we get a check, but not for me. It's to donate to our charity, which I belong to a domestic violence organization called NAG. So I want it for my friend Teresa Johnson. So it's something where it's prestigious to me because it's a nomination, it's an appointed award. And it's for the person who goes above and beyond for her unit, her community, outside her unit, because I don't just help my own people, I help other people within the business.
I love that. Congratulations, by the way, for the award. It sounds like it's a peer group, non BS award because you cannot fake your way into the nomination, right?
That's
You got
right.
to lead from the front and you got to be a servant leader. And not only your peers, but the community has to recognize that. So even people unaffiliated with your immediate group needs to notice and chime in. So I'm certain you've made quite a splash, and I can see why, right? Because the way we were introduced to you is I was actually looking to interview another leader that I was very impressed with. And she looked at me and she said, I'm glad I impressed you, but I'm not even nearly as impressive as somebody I'm about to introduce you to. And that's when she brought you to the table, Renee. So
Thank you, Keisha.
Keisha was very humble with the introduction. Yeah, a lot of love to that lady. But I will plug something just because you brought it up as well. The Unfiltered Show is very excited to always bring nonprofits and worthy causes to the platform. We currently am very involved in helping establish and sponsor and promote an organization called Stay Safe. Stay Safe was started by a mother-daughter. The daughter happens to be a five-time gold medal world championship badass ninja fighter, mixed martial arts. And she's remarkable. She's impressive beyond belief. But she started a program to help women understand their surroundings, to de-escalate situations, and then as a last resort, how to defend themselves. And so this show, every time we host a show like this, people always want to chime in and ask on what they can do back. I would love it. We're going to tag the Stay Safe organization on our social media as we do every week. If any of your people ever want to know what they can do or support, have them look at those links and do something with that as well, as much as you want to promote. And we hope that you'll also share with us the links for the domestic violence organization that you're working with as well.
Thank you.
So how do you keep your clients? Because I can be a client in Mary Kay, and I'm asking another naive question. I can be a client without being an affiliate. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. How do you keep your clients happy?
I wish my unit could like chime in on here, because this is something I'm very proud of, Bruce, and customer service is key. I will toot my own horn on my customer service.
You toot away, lady. Toot, toot, toot.
I am very proud. I've had customers who have been with me the entire time that I've been in the business. I've had referrals. I don't just deliver product, I deliver happiness, right? So when I pull up, or in my bags, I have this whole little thing I do on Facebook, delivering my product. I even have my Yorkie dog, he's my guard dog. He's on guard duty with my products come in, and I have this whole thing. But when I deliver my products, I'm delivering love. I'm delivering happiness. I'm delivering sunshine. Even when I package it, you don't just open up one of my boxes and it's just like, oh, my product is here. It's an experience, right? So it's an experience to have me as your beauty consultant. And I'm proud to say that I'm unapologetic about that. I give handwritten cards still. Everybody's, we do email, but I still handwrite cards. Thank you. Handwritten. I may give a little sample. I may give a little smiley face. I may, throw something else in there, or just if I'm talking to my customer, she said, "Oh, I'm not feeling well today. I don't need anything." I'm automatically just putting a get well card in the mail. So it's personal for me. Oh, how is so and so doing? Oh, how's that grandbaby? I remember things about them. It's a personal relationship for me. So my clients, because as you know, Mary Kay is all over and we have lots of consultants. But what keeps my clients coming back to me is the experience that they have with me.
You can't fake passion.
No,
That's exactly what I see in you. This has been an easy, happy show the whole time, and I don't want to pivot, but I am going to ask you a unfiltered question. Along the way, as you were navigating all of this, getting from year 1 to year 12, there must have been some haters in your path.
oh yeah.
There must have been some people who didn't want to see you succeed, who almost openly resent your success, are quick to criticize or tear you down. How are you navigating that?
So I'm going to take a quote from, I met him years ago, and he is now the governor of Maryland, Wes Moore. And he said, don't let people that don't matter too much matter too much. Right? Let that sink in.
Wow.
Let
Yeah,
that
wow.
sink in. So sometimes it's the people that are closest to you. They may not want to admit that they're envious of your success, but you feel it and you know it. I just have to be me and keep going. Some have outwardly said, a couple of things, but I'm like, okay, you have to let it roll off your back. Some,
Hang on, time out. You can say, let it roll off your back.
does it hurt?
The words sound right, right? But it's not the easiest thing to do. It
No,
hurts.
it's absolutely not. And that's growth, right? So the song Backstabbers, right? They smile in your face, want to take your place. That is a true thing. But I think that's with any business. It does hurt sometimes. I always tell people it's not that the gun was shot, is who pulled the trigger, you know. So depending on who it is, it does hurt, but hurt and wounds heal. They heal. And when you know what your purpose is and your mission is, and you truly know where you're going, and you know that it's not about you, you have to keep going because that's expected. Roadblocks, obstacles, you have to pivot for progress. And just like a rocket ship goes but so high, and then the rocket booster falls off, right? You cannot take everybody to the top with you. And you yourself, as a leader, whatever business you're in, you have to be okay with leaving some people behind.
That's tough. That's tough, but it's real.
It's,
It's absolutely real. I have two questions that I'm going to end the show with. Number one question is, what is the best advice you can give somebody right now that might be struggling with self-confidence, self-belief, dealing with negativity around them, maybe an unsupportive spouse, maybe stressed and doesn't have the freedom to accelerate or run as quickly as she or he might want to? Because those are a lot of people like that. Obviously, you've met them, I've met them. What do you say to someone like that as you're sharing the opportunity?
Faith, faith it, not fake. Faith it until you make it.
Yeah.
Right? You just have to have that faith and believe in yourself. No matter what, that self-belief is, if you can say to yourself, and Mary Kay said this herself, I wish I had the honor of meeting her. If you believe you can, you will. But if you believe you can't, you're right about that too.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to, your why will cause you to work. Right? I was in a position where I had no other choice. Right? So to this day, I am still hungry like I was in 2013. I stay hungry because I also know it's not about me. I can't give up now, because if I were to give up, I'm killing a lot of dreams behind me. A lot of dreams, not just for my unit members, but for those who are watching me, who are saying, "Go, I know you can do it." I would kill, because I'm so passionate that they know that if I call myself $1 million Renee, because I'm going to be $1 million sales director one day, that if I were to give up, that's killing a lot of people's dreams.
Yeah. That's a
So
lot of responsibility with
a
leadership.
lot of response. So I have here on my laptop, I'm going to read this. I read this last week. Your excellence is someone else's dreams.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's a lot of pressure.
it is a lot of pressure sometimes, but
Yeah.
because I'm so passionate, my passion is my paycheck. It really is. And it's not always monetary gain, it's paychecks of the heart, to know that I push through so that somebody else can come up as well. So they have to have faith. They have to just believe in what they're doing, whatever they're building. You have to get excited about it.
I love this. I have two daughters that are 25 and 22, and I'm always looking to invite as much leadership and as much counsel and as much success and as much, I do all of this. Everything I do is to create more environment and opportunities to empower them. So I'm going to ask you this one last question, because it's going to be meaningful
Yes, I'll
selfishly
accept them. Yes, I'll accept them.
to my daughters. What would you say today to 23-year-old Renee shortly after your mom's passing,
Hmm.
about what the future looked like for this girl?
What would I say to 23-year-old Renee? If I knew then what I know now, of course, make better choices financially, right? And I didn't tell you, I was actually asked for this opportunity by somebody else back in my 20s. So I wish I would have, I would have like, sure, but I didn't think I needed it. But I would just say, believe in yourself. I can't reiterate that enough. You have to believe in yourself, because just like dominoes, You know how you take time and setting up those dominoes and you can go, and all it takes is one person and the closest person to you, one tip and the belief that you had because you have that emotional connection to that person, it can kill everything and everything just falls. So I would say to 23-year-old Renee, keep going no matter what it looks like. Believe in yourself.
Well, I got good news for you. She heard you and she did. So, that's what brought you to this place right here. Renee, you've been so generous with your time.
Thank you.
You're such a servant leader. I sense it. I feel it.
Thank you.
I desperately want to have you back on the show as a regular. I want to be able to track your success. I want to be able to have you extend an invitation to any of your up and coming leaders that you feel we could help lend a voice to. I would love to host them on the show
Oh,
and give them a chance to feel recognized, obviously, but they would have to earn it, and you can decide that.
absolutely.
You have a deep sincerity about the passion that drives you. I am in awe at how much you've done in how short amount of time. If that was your first 12 years and we get better and quicker in age, I'm excited to see what the next 3 to 4 look like for you. So allow Unfiltered to have a front row seat. We will be your number one fans, and anything we can do to help move your needle forward, we want to do that.
Thank you so much.
But thank you for being so gracious with us today. Thank your husband for being so unending with his support and love and everything else, and your wonderful children for making you proud. Obviously, I sense that pride when you speak about them.
Yes.
It's been an honor. It's been an honor to have you. Thank you for gracing our show with your presence.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for I'm humbled. I'm humbled by you and by Keisha, your viewers. So thank you, and I appreciate the invitation to come back. I would love that, and just thank you, and God bless you and your family, your daughters, and everything.
Thank you kindly. Look forward to
Thank
it.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.